Hi, welcome to Iasa Core. Iasa Core is a comprehensive training program built to give an architect an experience of an entire life cycle of an architecture practice. It is meant as a common language, as a common set of practices that allow you to develop an understanding and a set of a complete picture of the way that an architecture progresses from idea and business outcome and business goal all the way to a measurement or an achievement. Not just delivery and structure and how to deliver an architecture, but why we deliver architecture. Why do we make the decisions we make within an organization and a product? Now, this will give you a solid, comprehensive language base, a set of techniques, and a very practical tool set to be able to deal with business outcomes and business strategy while delivering on a particular product, program, or large solution. The core was established in 2007, 2008 timeframe when we originally identified at ISA the competency model for architects. The competency model for architects is a baseline understanding of what it means to be a practicing architect. All of the core is then based on this competency model and this open source body of knowledge. The open source body of knowledge, or the BITABOK, is the business technology architecture body of knowledge. It is free, open source, and easy to use. It includes a competency model that we have found through thousands of surveys make for a successful architect in almost any environment, the most engineering-based environment, as well as the most business-based environment. We've got architects, thousands of architects that have taken this through the years and learned the 5 pillars of competency: business technology strategy, human dynamics, design, IT environment, and quality attributes. Now, this is as good for the senior developer as it is for the mid-level business architect. As we start to connect all of these practices together in the course, you'll get a fundamentally new way of looking at what architecture is. The BITABOK and this course will teach you to understand architecture as a comprehensive life cycle and a comprehensive understanding of an organization and the product and solutions you're working on and their relationship to strategy and innovation, to planning and change, to transformation, as well as to utilization and decommissioning. We will go through a common set of tools and techniques related to the business, the client and the customer, the capabilities of an organization, how value is understood in a product or program, how to roadmap and create business cases, how to define an architecture in and of itself and the techniques for describing architectures, how to understand the epics and stories and requirements of a solution space, how to explore options and decisions and design options within that solution space, tied to features and outcomes. How to do so in rigorously structural ways where we look at pattern languages, style languages, and reference models in ways to understand and solve problems that we may have already addressed in other architectures. We'll look at rigorous, heavily used assessment methods like ATAM or PBAM, as well as agility, stakeholder management, and architecture practice in general. We'll answer questions about architecture documentation, about a tool set for solutioning, about how to describe value to any stakeholder, how to measure that value, and find out whether or not you've achieved it, how to tie in agile best practices with traditional business management practices, and how to do all of that within the framework of a client and a customer. So whether you're a consultative architect or want to be, whether you're a product owner in the architecture space, or whether you're a senior technologist looking to achieve a greater amount of maturity in your technology understanding, this course will provide you a solid foundation for which to launch your career. Now, we've had a great deal of success in using many standardized approaches to navigating the world of architecture. You'll see within the framework of our solutions, the homework that you'll achieve, a very agile, very easy to use, and flexible approach to developing out a set of example canvases and cards, what we call the structured canvas approach in the Bitterbock. This is a set of tools that you'll be provided with to understand from strategy to execution, views and deliverables related to architecture, and how you can achieve better results in your outcomes. Now, it's very important that you understand that this is not a deep dive into technology, nor is it a deep dive into business. It is actually a balanced approach that allows you to explore both technical depth as well as business depth and their relationship to each other. This serves as a building block and a foundational body of knowledge that then springboards you into the ability to be a better software architect, solution architect, business architect, cloud or information architect, hybrid or infrastructure architect. Even our upcoming physical systems architects base themselves on a very similar body of knowledge and similar basis of practice. And that is, how do I take a business outcome and propose solutions for it in a technical world and in a business world that will achieve the measured objectives that I have for my organization? How do I design rigorously structured technology in a very engineered way, while also making the trade-offs that allow me to achieve whatever my particular business outcome is? Even in the most stringent engineering environments, these techniques are used to help understand how to make trade-offs within the design and the delivery methods. We will explore the use of architecture both at the product and program level, but we'll also look at multi-team architecture, how to facilitate stakeholders, how to facilitate decisions in a complex environment. So the old world of architects making decisions and then handing those off to people has been gone for many years. What this class teaches you to do is to understand decision rights, understand decision mechanisms in trade-off analysis, as well as common techniques like architectural analysis techniques and patterns and reference models for providing more stable, more resilient, more secure, and more performant technology solutions to business problems. This class has proven to grow architecture skills and architect skills in depth as well as in breadth in such a way that many of our students say things like, I didn't really start my career until I reframed how I approached architecture. Or this was the key to unlocking my career progression. Now, we've been using these techniques at Iasa and with our members and with our clients for many years. This comes from a practicing body of board-certified architects. It comes from practicing architects in small companies, in big companies. We've had upwards of 1,000-person architect organizations, all the way down to 5 people doing architecture part-time. Use these techniques with success. So this is not a big framework program. This is, how do I think about architecture in a way that gives me a common sense of where we're going, what we're doing, and how I lead my technologists and my delivery and my business into the best decisions possible. In addition, we'll teach you some common techniques, which is what the Bitterbock is made up of. We'll teach you experimentation, road mapping, product versus project thinking, governance, quality assurance, tool sets, repositories, legacy modernization, things like deliverables and quality attributes. All of the operating activities of an architect will be both introduced as well as a tool or a set of tools connected to your practice that allows you to get better at those things over time. The Architect Core then fundamentally challenges you to think about things like, how is my role fit in an agile context? How do I relate to people like the product owner, the tech lead, people, the multi-team environment, the other architects in the practice. We look at concepts like healthy tension and what does it mean to work with a knowledgeable, capable set of stakeholders without coming across or acting as if we are the only decision authority, but in fact facilitating the best outcomes in the world. We'll talk about scaled agile techniques like disciplined agile and safe and how those fit in. We'll also talk about what a balanced and connected architecture practice might look like. Again, the focus of this session is on the common skills of the architect and a career path that allows you to exercise those skills in the most healthy and an ongoing way with your current stakeholders as well as in a future product or project delivery method. Well, regardless of your specialization, whether you might focus in on business architecture or software architecture, we're first going to focus in on the competency model that brings all architects together. This comes from thousands and thousands of interviews, thousands of surveys. In how do we deliver the best of breed architecture roles and practice model to our organization, and what tools support us in doing that? As I said, we'll cover things like human dynamics and people skills. We'll cover business technology strategy skills and how you interact with a sophisticated business partner. We'll talk about the IT environment and technology skills you'll need to be successful as an architect, as well as the common trade-offs and choices and decisions that we have to make. We'll look at quality attributes and how quality attributes work, and then we'll talk ultimately about design and design delivery. So it's very important as you start moving forward in your career as an architect that you start to look in these depth areas and improve actual competencies within the body of your practice, within the body of your skills, and with where you're at in your career. We'll cover the common career path through an approach that discusses improvement in all 5 areas of the competency model. So within the competency model, we'll be talking about things like the progression from one degree of skill to the next. Again, title and organization, we have found through our years and years of surveys as a nonprofit working with our corporate and individual members, that architects progress through roughly 4 stages of their career. They begin as aspiring architects. There's some indication aspiring doesn't mean junior. It simply means they find themselves deciding to become an architect. Oh, I would like to move into an architect role. They want to learn more about it even. As they progress, we learn a common language. We learn a common skill set. We find the commonality amongst architects of all types, whether we're software, business, solution, or other type of architect. And we think of that learning phase as a kind of foundation level, and that's what this class will give you. We then traditionally advance to more detailed solution software, business, or infrastructure types of specializations by practicing these competencies within our area of interest. For myself, that was software architecture and continues to be, but I also enjoy business and information architecture at very senior levels, because as we progress to our board level professional and distinguished certifications, we gather enough experience to actually apply these skills at very large levels of scope. Now, that doesn't negate the need for architects at all levels of scope of practice, but this career progression, foundation, advanced, professional, and distinguished, leading upwards to chief or principal or other senior practice leads, has been universal in the career path of most of the architects we interviewed and that we work with in a day in and a day out basis. This career progression, then, Iasa has achieved a management technique and a mentoring and a leadership technique to guide you through this in an understandable and an organized way. So in the core course, you will be challenged in any modality, either in person, online, or through our mentoring-based learning programs, to actually practice competencies and to have someone guide you in individual outcomes within those competencies. Much like doctors are built or building architects, right? We try with an expert. We're shown how to do something. We work with that expert in a mentoring basis to practice that skill so that instead of trial by error, as many architects in the world had to learn, we learn by understanding and doing within a controlled circumstance. In addition, this helps us to communicate better the value of architecture. What do we do? What do we provide? What is the difference between an architect and an engineer? What is the difference between an architect and a product owner, an architect and a business manager, or architect and an IT manager? How do we work effectively in these dynamic and complex ecosystems of stakeholders, business needs, and technical decisioning to become successful every time? We've been able to demonstrate that by applying these core principles, just these core principles you'll learn in this class, that you can pole vault your career and pole vault the maturity of your architecture practice. Again, many of these techniques are used by the world's largest consulting and modern product companies. Things like cloud vendors or top flight digital transformation consulting firms are using these techniques in their own consulting practices in a relatively global way. Iasa is one of the first groups that has ever connected all these tools and techniques together in a unique configuration that brings together the skills of a single architect that you can use in a repeatable way without heavy documentation, without the loss of design, but without the big design up front fallacies that we had in the last 80 years, 70 years. The point is that with these techniques, you're armed for almost any situation, even if it doesn't happen regularly at your environment. In addition, it will allow you to work better with your teams and with your stakeholders to create better solutions. Even at the lowest level of technical detail, we still use these same techniques as a senior developer working in code on a team to decide on pattern application and complex system delivery, or cloud hosting techniques, or performance, reliability, security, resiliency techniques. These things come up in a day in and day out basis. We all do stakeholder management. We all do business outcome understanding. And that means these skills are universally needed in most modern teams. I hope you'll join us for the core foundation class, which will provide you the skills you need to face a modern complex architecture challenge. Don't be fooled by the 4-hour classes. What we have to teach you is both deep and lasting and will change the basis of your career. And this is the best from the best architects in the world.